being in a relationship is amazing, especially with this one, right?
Right.
But it also takes, as you know, a lot of work. And it's hard enough being at home in one place. But when you are traveling on the road full time, it adds a lot more stress-inducing factors into the entire equation. So today we're going to talk about, in this video, how we get along while traveling on the road. Ready? Let's go. Hi, and welcome to the Adventures of Dave
And Nikki.
And today is all about relationships and how we get along while traveling on the road.
One of the most important things we do is manage our basic physical needs first. We don't let ourselves get too hungry, tired, or thirsty when on the road, because that's when we start getting grumpy. I know for me personally, I need to eat a little something about every 4 hours, or I'll notice I'm a bit crabby before I notice I'm hungry. And it's just good maintenance. Another thing that we do is to rest when needed. Just communicate with your partner and let them know, hey, this is a little too much for me. If we're seeing sight after sight after sight, it's okay to say, hey, I need to go sit in the shade. Another thing I noticed for me is that my partner, Dave, has a lot more endurance for heat and humidity than I do. So when we're in a hot country, for instance, Thailand, I need to let him know, again, it's communication. I really need a break or a cold drink or to sit in the shade for a few minutes before we continue. Taking care of yourself will help you be a happier and more enjoyable travel partner for your spouse. Another thing to be aware of is if you're tired after a 12-hour flight and lugging your stuff around and going through immigration, be aware that your partner feels the same way. So you don't want to take it out on each other. Just be gentle with yourself and be aware that your partner is going through the same things that you are. They were on that flight. They didn't get any sleep either because of the crying infant behind you.
Oh my goodness.
It happens. So, take care of each other when you're on the road.
Yeah. You find that in those situations that it's difficult. There's different languages and different stressors. You want to get off that plane and get to your hotel as soon as possible. Sometimes the internet's not working. But when those things occur, we just step back, take some deep breath, and remember, we're here for each other, to enjoy each other, and to give yourself some grace first. And once you feel comfortable with yourself, then you just give them to your partner as well.
Pardon the interruption.
If you're into retired, slow travel life like us, we invite you to come along. Please click on subscribe and like, and we'll see you on the road. Now back to the video.
Another technique we use to get along when we're traveling is to manage our expectations. Traveling comes with some unexpected circumstances. Your flight gets delayed. One time we arrived at our hotel, we were very tired and they didn't have our reservation. Things are going to happen. Things are going to not go as planned. And we have a choice here about not the circumstances, they're still going to happen, but how we react to it. Are we going to choose to complain and be stressed about it? Or are we going to accept it and find another way to do it? If our flight's delayed, okay, can I complain about it or can I find something else to do, like take a nap or take a walk around the airport?
Get some coffee.
Get some coffee. If you yourself are in a point of acceptance and not complaining, you are a much more enjoyable travel companion to whoever you're traveling with. And to yourself, you'll enjoy it more.
Yeah, that's a good point. Something we try to keep in mind while we're traveling with each other is our needs at this particular destination. We are traveling to this place for certain reasons, but they might differ for each of us based on each of our own wants and interests. And it's important to know that about each other and to make sure that both partners get to experience our own respective must-sees For example, if I want to see a lot of nature stuff, actually that's mostly Nikki's, a lot of nature stuff on her part, but I'm more into museums and tall buildings and things like that. We need to recognize each other's needs and must-sees. So yeah, we'll do some nature things. And then on the other hand, we'll also go over to my side and see some cultural things.
Your bucket list for things to do might look a little bit different for each person. Just be sure you dip into both buckets.
All the buckets.
All the buckets. All the time.
Because what happens is if neglecting one partner's interests or buckets, it builds and slowly brews quiet resentment. And that's one thing we actively talk about and try to avoid. The next thing we actively try to do for each other is to make sure we have an understanding of our mutual budget on a trip at a particular destination. Money matters is one of those things that is most damaging and causes most conflicts with couples everywhere, not just for traveling. But when we're on the road, we are sticking to a very particular budget, and we need to make sure that we're adhere to that. For example, we say we're going to spend this much on groceries, this much on restaurants, and we also agree on, let's say, we're going to eat this much at more local foods or more cheaper eats, more casual places. But yet, how about we budget on 2 or 3 fancy dinners, during that week? So as long as we communicate and agreed on our spending, we're both comfortable with where we're at. Yeah, so the most important point here is basically avoid surprises when it comes to budget, because financial peace creates relational peace.
Well said.
Thanks.
Another thing that we actively try to do to strengthen our relationship when traveling is to slow down and enjoy each other. We're not getting through a checklist. It's a shared life.
Mm-hmm.
We're not just running through an itinerary of things to do. We want to enjoy it with each other. I get a lot of enjoyment out of watching him enjoy himself, right? And he gets a lot of enjoyment to see me at the cat cafe in my little happy place with all the kitties.
I like cats too.
Yeah. And we let go of rushing, built in some space to sit in the park, talk, laugh, and share about our day at the end of the day. Right?
Yeah, there's a lot of joy in just watching the world go by,
There is. There is. And we're not afraid to cross stuff off our list if we're just feeling too busy.
Yeah, we've done that many times, actually. During the planning phase, we would be all gung-ho and put all these things on our Google Maps list for that particular city. But when our boots are on the ground, sometimes we just can't happen. We enjoy a particular place so much that we're going to spend more time there, and we don't get a certain place, and we're okay with that,
Another thing we do is check in often with each other. Don't just assume how they're doing. Ask how they're doing with, again, with the hungry, tired, thirsty thing. Do you want to keep going, or do you want to take a break? It's really important to communicate with each other. It's like, hey, Dave, I've had enough. I just want to go back to the hotel and take a nap. So just don't make any assumptions. Communicate with each other. I learned after 30 years, he really can't read my mind.
I've really tried. But yeah, so I ask her a lot. Like, how are you doing? How are you feeling? Everything okay? Are you okay with this? Maybe she's sick of me asking her, but I find that if I don't have this check-in, and me too, things just don't go as smooth. And we've learned this pattern with each other. So maybe it'll help you too.
Another thing we do that helps us get along when traveling is to respect our energy styles and our different personalities. I am more of an introvert and Dave's an extrovert. So there's some times when we want to spend a little bit time apart. Maybe I want to just sit in my beach chair and read a book, and he wants to go see some live music and be around some high energy people. And that's fine. It's good to take a little break and pursue your own interests. Take some quiet time to recharge if you want to, while the other one wants to explore. One of the experiences I had recently when we were in Thailand is I just wanted to go do a thing by myself. I wanted the autonomy of getting around on public transportation and finding things. And Dave usually does such a great job of taking care of me. He's the directions guy, and he just wants to be sure I'm safe and everything's good. But I just needed that independence of, hey, I'm a grown up. I'm going to go do something on my own. So just be aware of what your needs are and what your partner's needs are.
Yeah, and she communicated that to me, and I was fine with it, obviously, but I just wanted to be safe in a foreign country, going to someplace on the planet that we've never been to before. Mm-hmm. So just be aware of each other's mental style and different views of how we approach things, and be okay with it, One of the new things we're trying recently on our upcoming travels is to try to have this brand new shared passion, because a shared passion gives us purpose on our travel and something besides just going out and seeing cool temples and cool churches. Nothing wrong with that. And so that's kind of why one of the many, many reasons we have this channel now. It allows us to kind of communicate and work together in a collaborative way, bond over this effort, and to cultivate this thing that we're doing. I find it kind of cool, and it kind of keeps our travel a little more interesting, with a little more purpose, so that you stay aligned as a team.
And you're not living a life of complete hedonism, as lovely as that sounds.
One thing we try to keep in mind a lot is that we're still a couple in a relationship. It doesn't matter how long we've been together, whether it's just a couple of months, newlyweds, or long-time marriage. Love and marriage needs nurturing to grow. And it takes effort and it takes work. And it's totally worth our work. So we try to make room for romance. We're still on the road. We schedule date nights, even though we spend a lot of time together anyways. It adds a little bit of something extra special to that occasion, whether it's a special fancy meal, or we find a special rooftop bar to have a smoothie, just whatever it takes to just make it a little more exciting, add extra excitement to those events, because, traveling is very exciting, but so is falling in love again in new places.
Well said.
Thanks.
And one of the most important things we do to get along as a couple while we're traveling is to show appreciation for each other daily, whether it's handling the logistics, lugging my luggage around. Thank you. Or, the little things like bringing morning coffee. We need to let each other know. Don't take each other for granted is what I'm saying. That works at home too, but on the road, sometimes it's a little tougher. Strange country, different language, different currency. You need a little extra kudos and thank yous. For instance, I'm going to tell you right now, I really appreciate, Dave, how you know exactly where we're at the minute we land. He has like this Google map that pops into his head, and he knows that's north, that's west, and he seems to know the lay of the land. I really appreciate that about you.
Thank you.
So let your partner know that they're seen and that they're valued.
Well, Nikki, I just want to tell you that I really appreciate you. A lot of times she offers to bring me coffee in the morning. She gets up before I do most of the time, almost all the time. Mm-hmm. And it's super nice to be on the road and have a nice cup of quality coffee, because that's what she likes, up here at my bedside. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. So there you have it. Some of what we do to get along and to thrive in a relationship while we're on the road traveling full time. If you like this kind of content, please support our little tiny growing channel and click on like, subscribe, and share with your friends. We have a lot of cool adventures upcoming. We have a big Euro trip coming up. We're going to be hopping on some cruises, and we're going to take you along with us. So thank you for being here, and we will see you at the next video.
Bye.
Bye.